Crashes in Formula One aren't just fast, they're fearless.
But he's going to try and dive down. And suddenly they have crashed! They've gone into each other! Daniel Ricciardo late braking!
They're the moments you remember, the ones that haunt you. And even though drivers escape them more often now, some of the most staggering wrecks of our century still shake the soul.
Oh, they've touched! And they've collided! Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton!
That is crazy.
From brutal pile-ups to spine-wrecking single-offs, every crash on this list changed F1 forever. Why? Because every impact taught us something new. Some scars fade, but others force F1 to evolve. Let's go. When we talk about how far F1 safety has come, one crash says it all. Silverstone, 2022, Guan Yu Zhou. After qualifying a solid P9, he was set for a strong Sunday, but then, lights out. Carlos Sainz gets a good launch, so does Norris, so does Hamilton. And then there was Gasly, charging up like a rocket, right behind Zhou and Russell, who had an even worse start. Gasly goes for the gap, and then it happens. Massive contact. Zhou's Alfa Romeo is flipped upside down, sliding, sparks flying, then straight into the gravel. Finally, it launches over the barrier and gets wedged between the tyre wall and the catch fencing. Just long pause, silence. And in a rare moment, you see George Russell sprint from his wrecked car straight toward Zhou. No hesitation, no concern for the race, just trying to help. Because what Russell saw was every driver's worst nightmare. A car stuck upside down, crammed into a tiny space, with no room to move, no way out. That claustrophobia inside an F1 cockpit, surprised.
But I was thinking, shit, that's a huge crash. That's kind of like a driver's worst fear.
Everyone held their breath until the news came in. Zhou was okay. Shaken, sure, but not a single broken bone. And that's when it really hit. This wasn't luck, this was the halo, the survival cell. All the years of safety innovation doing exactly what they were meant to do. Luciano Berti, a name you probably haven't heard, and honestly, that's because his F1 career was short. Just 2 seasons, 2000 and 2001. But what happened to him? Berti was a Brazilian driver, talented, aggressive, always pushing. But for some reason, fate, timing, or just bad luck, he never got the break he wanted. His stint with Jaguar in 2001, 4 races, nothing special. And then came Spa, the high-speed jungle of Formula One. He was chasing Eddie Irvine, wringing every ounce out of that Prost car, a car that had no business being pushed that far. Then they approach Blanchimont, left-hander, flat out, terrifying. He slams into the barrier, nearly 170 miles per hour. A 111G impact. 111. His car just disappeared, straight under the tyre barrier, gone. The marshals scrambled, safety car out. And then they saw it. Bertie's helmet was cracked, right in the front. He had a brain hemorrhage, was barely conscious. He was rushed to the hospital, nearly in a coma. But somehow, Bertie survived. He recovered. He didn't race in F1 again, but he did become a Ferrari test driver. And after that crash, tracks around the world started covering tyre barriers with blankets to stop cars from diving under them like Bertie's did.
If you think that crash was scary, wait until you see this next one. Alright, let's rewind to Montreal 2007. Just 1 lap after the safety car peels off, the race is still in its early stages, and Robert Kubica is sitting back in P15, dives down the inside at the hairpin. But the move is mistimed. And then, bang! An absolute monster of a crash. One of the most brutal impacts you'll ever see in Formula One. Kubica hits the wall at over 160 miles per hour. The safety crews rush in. Ambulance is on track. The entire paddock holds its breath. And then the word comes through, Kubica's awake. And a few hours later, the doctors say it's just a sprained ankle. After that, 2 races later, he's back behind the wheel. And just 1 year after the crash, he wins. In Montreal, right where it all happened. Felipe Massa, a name you definitely know. But What you might not know is that he was the one who unintentionally put those tyre barrier blankets to the test in one of the freakiest crashes F1 has ever seen. 2009 Hungarian Grand Prix, end of Q2. Massa's sitting P9, not safe. He has to push if he wants to make Q3. And then, bang! Out of nowhere, something seriously wrong. The car just keeps going straight. He slams into the barriers full speed. But here's what really freaked everyone out. The engine is still revving, even after the crash, flat, out. No reaction, no movement. Everyone watching went silent. Massa was airlifted to Budapest Military Hospital. Nobody really knew what had just happened, until they rolled the replay, and it sent chills down everyone's spine. A piece of metal, a spring, had flown off Rubens Barrichello's car, launched at high speed, and it struck Massa's helmet right above the left eye while he was doing over 160 miles an hour. The force of the hit knocked him out instantly. No time to react, no chance to slow down. He had a deep cut, a fractured skull, and a severe concussion. Somehow, he came back the next year and even started strong, grabbing 2 podiums in the first 2 races of 2010. But, if we're being honest, that crash changed something because Massa never quite looked like the same driver again. No more wins, no title contention. You can decide for yourself whether that spring, that 1 in a million accident, stole more than just a season from him. The halo, we all know it now. But the crash that truly pushed it over the line is one of the hardest moments in modern Formula One history. Jules Bianchi, Japan, 2014. Typhoon fan foam was hammering the Japanese coastline. October 5th, the rain was relentless, visibility basically zero. The track flooded, and yet they still decided to go racing. It started behind the safety car. Drivers couldn't see a thing. After just 2 laps, the red flag came out. It was that dangerous. But about 20 minutes later, they restarted, again behind the safety car. Lap after lap, things seemed to be improving. Drivers switched to inters, finally, some proper racing, until lap 36. The rain returned, harder, heavier, mistakes everywhere. Cars sliding, spinning, it was chaos. Then came lap 42. Adrian Sutil lost control at Dunlop Curve and crashed into the barriers. So what did they do? They sent out a recovery vehicle. Yes, a crane tractor, with marshals next to it. Yellow flags only. And the very next lap, Jules went off at the exact same corner. No one even knew how bad it was at first. But they called the race off right after. No champagne, no celebrations. Nobody cared who won. All anyone could think about was Jules. He was rushed by ambulance because the chopper still couldn't fly to the nearest hospital. Initial reports said he had suffered a severe head injury. He underwent emergency surgery and was moved into intensive care. Later, we learned the horrifying numbers. The car hit the crane with 58.8 Gs, but Jules's body took a staggering 254 Gs. He had a diffuse axonal injury, one of the worst kinds of brain trauma.
But on July 17, 2015, Jules Bianchi passed away. 25 years old, the first F1 driver to die from a race incident since Ayrton Senna in 1994. Jules' story doesn't end there, because in 2018 his godson made his F1 debut, Charles Leclerc, the kid Jules believed in. And when Charles won Monaco in 2024, his home race, on the very streets Jules once dreamed of conquering, it felt like something bigger. Like he wasn't just winning for himself, he was finishing the story Jules never got to. Rest in peace, Jules. Your legacy lives on. Funny how 2018, the very year the Halo was introduced, ended up giving us 2 of the scariest crashes Formula One had seen in decades. And both of them put the new safety system straight to the test. First up, Spa, lap 1, absolute chaos. And suddenly, Alonso's car is launched. It flies right over Charles Leclerc. You watch the replay in slow motion and it's terrifying. A tyre comes inches from his head. If that halo wasn't there, we're not even having this conversation. The crash was caused by Hülkenberg, missed his braking point, slammed into Alonso and sent him airborne like a missile. And just as everyone was breathing again, the next race weekend brought more chills. Monza, second practice, Marcus Ericsson flying down the main straight at 210 miles per hour. And then, bang, the car jerks sideways and starts flipping. Once, twice, 5, 6 times. Car completely destroyed. And then Ericsson steps out. Not a scratch, like nothing happened. Turns out his DRS got stuck open, so when he hit the brakes at full speed, the car lost all rear stability. It slammed into the wall, snapped the suspension, and that's when one of the front wheels got trapped underneath, flipping the car like a pancake. That crash instantly brings back memories of Alonso's nightmare in Australia, 2016. He was right on the tail of Esteban Gutierrez, and just as he was about to make the move at nearly 190 miles per hour, disaster. Alonso clipped the back of Gutierrez, and in a split second his McLaren turned into shrapnel. The car launched, flipped, and slammed into the barriers upside down, destroyed. Gutierrez's car ended up in the gravel, but Alonso's? Unrecognizable. It looked horrifying. Everyone froze. But then there he was, crawling out of the wreckage, and somehow walking over to shake Gutierrez's hand. That image, two drivers standing side by side after something that violent, it felt unreal.
Fortunately flying, so you see the sky, then the ground, the sky, the ground, and you want to stop, and it doesn't stop, you know, it keeps going, and it was quite scared, but yeah, the last point, the car stopped, and I had a little space to go out, and I said I will go out quickly because my mother will watch at home, and I want to go out quickly.
And that day, Alonso walked away from one of the wildest crashes F1 has ever seen. If Alonso's crash made your jaw drop, Mark Webber's crash in Valencia 2010 wasn't far behind. Let's set the scene. And it's lights out and away we go. Hamilton dives in, Webber's caught in the shuffle. Lap 10 fighting with the Lotus of Heikki Kovalainen. He closes in. The Red Bull is miles faster. But just as he pulls out to overtake, boom, he slams into the back of the Lotus. The car launches skyward. Yes, launches. He's airborne. Webber flips, smashes into the track, hits the barriers with a force that would crumple steel. Chucks his steering wheel.
Oh, a little bit tender here and there, but you know, I'm happy to be. I was in just having a shower, just going, well, mate, you know.
If that crash was a wake-up call, what came next was a nightmare. The 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix. Just a normal start. Nothing out of place. Lights out and away we go. Everyone's jockeying for position. Until... the world held its breath. Grosjean's car was gone. Just flames. A wall of fire between two barriers and zero movement. I thought he was gone. We all did. How could anyone survive that?
I saw the fireball. I couldn't believe that this could happen in modern Formula One cars.
But within seconds, the medical car was there. Dr. Ian Roberts, Alan van der Merwe, track marshals sprinting in with extinguishers, risking their lives. And then...
where's the rest of the car and where is the driver?
Out of the fire, a silhouette. Grosjean climbs out. 27 seconds. That's how long he was inside that inferno.
Say I'm okay, well, sort of okay. Thank you very much for all the messages. I mean, I wasn't for the Halo some years ago, but I think it's the greatest thing that we've got to Formula One, and without it I wouldn't be able to speak to you today. So thanks to all the medical staff at the circuit at the hospital, and hopefully I can write you soon some messages and tell you where it's going.
Within a ball of fire, that the heat must have been so extreme. It was a miracle. It was absolutely a miracle.
I owe you a bit of a pudding.
What saved him? Everything. The halo, the survival cell, the hands device, his helmet. Every piece of modern F1 safety did its job. Every second counted. Every improvement mattered. And on that day, F1 didn't just save a driver. It saved a father, a husband, a human. So yeah, Halo confirmed as irreplaceable.